Welcome, everyone. My name is John Brenneman. I'm the president here at MOAA Vacations, and today we're joined by Sawyer Shoates with Collette Vacations. Phone's not supposed to be ringing. Anyway, welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. A couple of points before we get started. I always like to remind people that we are filming. We are recording today's presentation. Tomorrow we'll send everybody an email with this presentation. So since we started right on the hour, if at any point either myself or Sawyer says something that you find of interest, just kind of make a note on your watch or your clock or your phone that it's like 23 minutes in or 35 minutes in, and then it will be easier to find when you go back and watch this. All of the specials that we offer today, the group departures, the signature group, the special MOAA exclusive amenity we have with Collette, all of those are available to both you and anyone traveling with you. So if you have friends and family that you'd like to bring along, absolutely do, and know that they'll get the same great deal that you receive. So the first thing I always like to talk about is MOAA Vacations. We are the official travel agency of MOAA. I know a number of people that signed up for today's webinar have been to one of my presentations before, but we have some new people. So I'd like to just talk a minute and talk about why MOAA selected us for their affinity partner for travel. And the number one reason is the level of service that we provide. We are the only travel agency in the United States that provides travel on a satisfaction guaranteed basis. And that simply means what it says. If you book travel through us and you have any issues or problems or concerns, you contact us and we resolve that to your satisfaction. And as I said, I don't think I can emphasize it enough, we are the only travel agency in the country that offers this level of service. We do have the guaranteed lowest prices. I always talk about, how that actually is kind of covered in the first one. No one would be satisfied if they paid too much. But we always like to pull that out and make special emphasis to the fact that when you book through us, when you book through MOAA, that you're going to get the lowest price. We do have a MOAA exclusive amenity program with a number of vendors. Collette is one of those. And this is in addition to the lowest price. It is an additional savings with tour companies such as Collette or on cruise lines. A lot of times it's free onboard credit or free onboard amenities such as specialty dining, upgrades, or those types of things. And then finally, we offer the opportunity to travel with your fellow MOAA members. These group opportunities are something special that we offer. And in fact, since you all, I'm sure, received an invitation or saw the ad that we had in Retired Officer Magazine, are aware of the fact that today we are actually going to talk about some of these group opportunities we have for you to go and travel with your fellow MOAA members from around the country. Want to make sure we say right up front, Sawyer's going to talk a lot about Collette. Collette goes to destinations all around the world. So if you want to book a Collette tour, give us a call, even if it's not one of the group departures we have. Or let's say we're talking about iconic Israel, and it's an itinerary you want to do, but the date that the group is departing on doesn't work for you. Rest assured that that same tour is offered multiple times, and you can get the same, lowest price guarantee and the Collette exclusive amenity on any date that you go on this year or next year. So when we talk about signature groups, we do actually have one of them on Collette for 2024, and that is this group to Iceland. It is departing this fall. If we could go to the Iceland slide, thank you. So this is a MOAA exclusive group, and there was a link in the email, and there'll be a link in the email we send you tomorrow where you can click it, and we actually have a website set up exclusively for this tour, and you can go through the day-to-day, you can go through what's included, the hotels you're going to stay at, and all that information's online. You can see the date that it's going and the price per person. One of the things that I talk about a lot when we talk about signature groups is these are exclusive departures. And so what we mean when we talk about a tour and we say it's an exclusive departure is we actually have two buses. And everyone on those buses will be either a MOAA member or the guest of a MOAA member. If you go back to one of the very first things I said, when you go on groups, even signature groups with us, you can bring friends and family along. So that gives you the opportunity to bring them along if you'd like. So exclusive departures. They are hosted by MOAA leadership and staff. This is something that a lot of people, I don't think, understand what a great opportunity this is until you actually experience. So during the tour and on your bus, there will be a member of MOAA leadership or staff on your bus, and it's an opportunity for you to talk with them one-on-one. And you'd be surprised the questions that you'll think of after spending a week or more with MOAA leadership and the information that you can get from them. And then the next thing is the exclusive events and excursions. And so what we do is we try to design something with the MOAA membership in mind in what they might like to see or do that might be a little bit different, or things that we know that are a unique opportunity that we don't want to miss. So there are some of these on the Iceland tour. The first one is if you were to book another date other than our signature group, a similar itinerary is available, although we've made a couple of modifications. The first one is we actually added a day to the itinerary. So we stretched it out a number of days, one additional day, which doesn't sound like a lot, but one of the things we've heard back from MOAA members in the past is a lot of these tours try to do too much too quick. You're always doing stuff, it's tiresome to not put a negative thing on it. I guess I would say, go to be positive, people would like more free time to explore on their own. So we put that in there. There is a lava show. I'm not going to go into too much details about it. You can see this on the day-to-day itinerary. And then one of the things that I think is going to be so cool is the reason we selected this September date is typically when you do Iceland, if you go during the summer, it's more sightseeing, but people want to see the Northern Lights. And so those typically are done in the winter. A lot of the sightseeing is probably a little too cold, but during the summer, you can't actually see the Northern Lights because, as I'm sure most of you know, it's daylight almost all day long. And one of the things you need to see the Northern Lights is you need a darkened sky. So we don't actually have anything set on the itinerary. If you look at the day-to-day itinerary, you won't see Northern Lights viewing on it, because what we're going to do is a Northern Lights safari, for lack of a better word. And so one of the evenings during the tour, if the weather conditions are right, you need it to be a clear sky, not cloudy, those types of things. At dinner, the Collette tour guides will say, hey, we're going to go out tonight. We're going to get the buses. We're going to go outside the city so it's as dark as possible, and see the lights, because everybody wants to do it. So we can't really schedule it because we don't know which night during the tour the weather's going to be appropriate. So we picked a date in September, because if we would have gone in the middle of the summer, we would have had an opportunity, because if there's no night sky or nobody wants to be getting up at 5 or 4 a.m. in the morning when it's going to be dark out. So I mentioned we have two buses. Both buses are almost completely full. I think we have 4 seats on one bus and 6 on the other. So if Iceland's something you wanted to do, take just a couple of minutes, look through the website. It is an opportunity that I don't know when we'll have that opportunity to do it again. I don't know if you want to, okay, this actually is the view from the hotel in Vik. And one of the things you'll see when you look at Iceland is there's not a lot of major cities there. So actually in Vik, we had to split the bus between 2 different hotels because neither hotel was large enough to house our entire group. And so we certainly do hope you can join us in Iceland. I will be in Reykjavik. I won't actually be on the tour, but I will be there to welcome you to Iceland. And then we'll have a welcome dinner, another unique thing that we're adding. But obviously, you're going to want to meet everyone you're going to spend the next, 9-10 days with. So we'll have a welcome reception, and I'll actually be there for the reception. So I hope I see everyone in Reykjavik. With that being said, I want to thank Sawyer for joining us today, taking time out of his busy schedule Everyone in the travel business is so busy right now with everything that is going on. And so for him to take an hour out of his day, plus all the prep that went into this, we really appreciate it. So Sawyer, without any further ado, tell us more about Collette.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, thank you, John, and appreciate everyone's attendance this afternoon, and really excited to talk about the opportunity to travel with MOAA Vacations, and hopefully been partnering on a Collette experience. And we're honored and privileged to play a small part in taking you all around the world. This is such an incredible organization, and I think your ideals and your values align perfectly with who Collette is as an organization, and just certainly honored to be here today. But I'll introduce myself. My name is Sawyer Shoates. I'm the regional director of sales for the entire central U.S. So I've been with the organization 12 years. They hired me right out of school, and certainly honored. I live in Nashville, Tennessee, so that is home for me. There's, you can see my wife Erin. We got married in 2021, so. We got a different pictures now. We're expecting our first child here any day, so we're certainly excited about it. But I want to talk about, the first thing out of my mouth is, how can we help you all save as much as we possibly can? And that's what it ultimately is. I'm going to start with the good news, and taking a look at what the benefit is for being a MOAA and being a MOAA member. And that's, as you see, MOAA members save $50 to $100 per person on any tour, plus any additional savings up to $500 off per person. That shows the value and the wonderful member benefit that you get that you would not see anywhere else. So another added member benefit for you all, and that's on any Collette departure we have, whether it be the groups that we'll focus on today or any of the 160 tours that Collette offers to all 7 continents. A little bit about my organization. We are the oldest tour operator in the United States. We've been doing this over 105 years. So the company was started based out of Pawtucket, Rhode Island in 1918. It started as a regional motor coach operator. Now, as you see, 160 different itineraries to all 7 continents. If you are that expert traveler and you've seen every continent but Antarctica, we can get you there. We're mostly land tour operators. I'll show you kind of what we see and do. We have a couple of different styles of how to travel. You've got the classic touring. When you think of guided travel, this is what it is. And that's what the 3 itineraries I'll focus on today are. That's your 35 to 44 passenger motor coaches. It's the Londons, the Paris, your major, kind of tier 1 destinations around the world. It could be the national parks, domestic. We have something for everyone. The fastest growing product line for us is what we call our small group explorations. And these are small group tours all over the world that we offer. So you're looking at 16 to 24 passengers max. It's more intimate. We can do some more unique things with 16 to 24 that we maybe aren't able to pull off with 44. So if it's an African safari or maybe off the beaten path Europe, it's a perfect, type of travel for someone who says, I like guided. I don't know if I necessarily want to be with 44, although there are wonderful benefits to that. Maybe you're a better fit personality-wise for small group travel, traveling with, 8 or 10 other couples. It's a great way to see the world. And then we do our spotlight stays. So our spotlight stays are single hotel stays all across the world. You pack and unpack once. I call it cruising by land. If you're a cruise fan, a lot of the reasons you love to go out and cruise, and there's a lot of them, but you're in the same room the entire time. It makes it a really convenient experience. Well, we've done that same exact concept with this, where maybe it's Paris, maybe it's the French Riviera, Tuscany, where you pack and unpack and you're staying in the entire hotel for the duration of the stay, and you hub and spoke out and you get to see it that way. Then we have cruising. We do river cruising. We have private yacht cruising to Croatia, 36 passengers max. It's a great way to see and do it in a really, really unique way. We're not an ocean-based cruise line company. We have Alaska, but that's it. We're mostly a land tour operator, but we do the Danube, the Rhine, Christmas on the Danube, those major sights and sounds that you would see on river cruising. And then, of course, we have our faith-based journeys. So this really makes up the portfolio for us on the product side to get to the 160 tours. We have something for everyone. We can get you wherever that bucket list is for you to see and do. So, before I really kind of get into the meat of the presentation, if you notice, there is a chat function. So if you have any questions, feel free to type those into the chat. We'll go over those at the end, or maybe we can, when we finish up, if you want to unmute yourself and ask any questions. That's what we're here for today. We want to show you, some of the sights and sounds of the destination, but we want to educate you any way we can on guided travel and why Collette is hopefully a wonderful, great fit for you to see the world. So, I want to spend just a little bit on why guided travel. And maybe you've never taken an escorted tour before. Maybe you don't understand the benefits of why this makes travel so much more convenient. You see and do so much more when you're doing it, and you're traveling with a best friend and your tour manager every step of the way. So when you look at that Collette quality, Collette is a full 4-star tour. I will call my product a full 4-star premium product. We want to stay in wonderful hotel locations. We want to show you the must-sees, and that's where we're going to start. We are not an option-based company. We include so much of the must-sees of the destination that we want to introduce you to, but we also want to do it with a really strong pace. So when you think about it, and John mentioned it in his intro, we want you spending more time in the destination and less time traveling between them. So as you see, we do a lot of multiple night stays in the hotel we're in. And, to see and do a lot, it might require a one-night stay here or there. We really want to limit those because we want you to experience the must-sees. We want you to see Big Ben and Parliament and Buckingham Palace, to get up close and personal with the national parks, to do on-game drives on our African safaris. That's what it is, to show you the must-sees, but it's also to get you into things that you can't do on your own. We're going to be able to do things on certain tours where we have breakfast in the Vatican before it even opens. You can't do that. So to give you the opportunity to see and do that destination is a great way to do it. But to us, it's all about culture. We want to show you what makes these destinations so unique. We'll be talking about Australia, New Zealand later today. I want to show you that Aboriginal culture. I want to introduce you to how they're, mixing and mingling in the modern life. What's their successes? What are they struggling with? Maybe we're in Stratford-upon-Avon, seeing William Shakespeare's birthplace and his home and learning what makes that unique. But it's all about the history, the culture, the people, immersing you in that and learning what makes these destinations so unique. But we really want to do it with an enhanced culinary experience. For us, the last thing we want to do is take you to a destination and make you feel like you're eating in a hotel banquet room every night. That's not what the Collette experience is. Now, there might be some destinations where that's the best place for you to eat. You think about Iceland, on that signature group. I've been multiple times. It is one of the most spectacular regions of the world to visit. But when you're on the southern coast in Beek, there really aren't restaurants, that can accommodate 44 people. So maybe having dinners in places, there's always a strategic mindset in it. But for us, we want to show you the culinary scene and the local cuisine of every destination we go to. And we're going to do it with some unique ways. We'll touch on home hosted meals later. We want to take you to a family local home and see what their family structure is like. How do they break bread? What makes their family structure unique? We want to do interactive cooking classes, demonstrations. We want you to go to Tuscany and come back an exquisite Tuscan chef. That's what this experience is. But, you think about if we're in one of the major wine regions of the world, Italy, Spain's, France, wine's included with every meal. We want you to really get into the local delicacies and get that experience. But we want to do it in some unique accommodations. So, you think about going to the Canadian Rockies and you see Chateau Lake Louise, or you see the Fairmont Banff Springs. Those are 5-star hotels, in my opinion. So to get that experience, those are what we do on our Canadian Rockies product. When we go to Ireland, our number one tour is Shades of Ireland. We want you to stay in the Cabra Castle. We want you to get that lifestyle of the rich and famous and luxury. But again, baseline 4-star experience on the hotel properties for us. But more importantly for us, it's the strategic location. We want you in the heart of the city so you have free time for you to go out and explore and see and do it. I don't want to take you to Venice and have you staying 45 minutes out by the train station. I want you looking out of your hotel window and seeing the Grand Canal. That's the experience I want you to feel like you're getting traveling on a Collette tour. But there's no better way than starting your vacation at your own door. This is included on any air-inclusive vacation with Collette, whether it's one of our group departures or whether it's an individual departure on one of our guaranteed dates. We have our private sedan service. Again, this is air-inclusive. If you have a land and air package with Collette, we will pick you up at your home with a luxury sedan, take you to the airport, pick you up and bring you back. They load your bags for you. There's no calling an Uber. There's no paying for a taxi. There's no driving to the airport. I fly out of Nashville all the time. To park in the garage, it's $26 a day. On a 15-day Australia, New Zealand trip, that adds up. This is a wonderful value. At the end of the day, too, I really don't like asking people to take me to the airport because I don't want them to have to return the favor. I hate taking people to the airport. So, to have this be a wonderful thing, to not bug family or friends, to not have to worry about an Uber, this is all included for you. If you're out of one of the major gateways across the United States, we have, a ton of gateways where we have this included service for you. If you happen to be in maybe a smaller, more regional gateway where we don't have that service, we'll have a credit back for you to help you save even more. But it's a great way to start your vacation for you to get out and have that start at your front door. So, kind of want to go over what's included on the group departures that we're going to focus on now. And again, it's hotel accommodations being at the 4-star level. I think one of the underrated features of an escorted tour and traveling with Collette is hotel to hotel baggage handling included. So you will never, once you get into the destination, you will never touch that big, heavy 50-pound bag the entire time we're gone. It's loaded, when the second we get to the motor coach from the airport, your bag will be dropped off in your room. If we're going to change hotels, you leave your bag outside the door. It'll be loaded on the motor coach for you. You will not be lugging that luggage all over Europe, Africa, South America, wherever we might be. Again, I touched on it earlier. It's about showing you the must-sees. It's about embracing the culture that you're visiting. And there's no better way to do that than your professional tour manager that's with you every step of the way. I kind of consider them half history professor, half hotel concierge. They know what makes this place unique, the history, the culture, the unique things that makes it a true highlight, but they are truly that concierge for you. They're great for restaurant recommendations, free time recommendations. If anybody's into shopping, they can help assist that. And I hope no one needs to see this skill set, but they truly shine in that emergency situation. So, if you ever, something happens on tour and it's travel, it's life, things can happen. They're with you 24/7. They are in all of the hotels, all the sightseeing. They'll never leave your side. They truly become your best friend in travel. The great part about it is in that unparalleled sightseeing, you're never going to have to pay entrance fees or you're going to get preferential access to walk in. When we go to the Colosseum in Rome, you're going to see people lined outside for hours waiting to get in. And you'll just wave to them as you walk through the VIP entrance into the bottom to get to see where the gladiators were before they went to battle. Same with the Vatican. You'll never wait in line. It's all included for you. You get a full opportunity for it. And these are curated by us. The great part about being a team at Collette is we have a product team that curates these itineraries for you. They're professionally planned. They're put together for you so you can get out and see what makes these destinations so unique. So I hope you see, as I wanted to highlight, why taking an escorted tour makes sense. People always say, why wouldn't I want to do this on my own? Or can't I pull this off? And I tell people the clearest as day, the easiest way to say the benefits of a Collette tour is you're going to see 20% more than you ever would on your own. And you're going to save 20% more than you would trying to do all this together on the group buying power. So that when John talks about you are getting the best price in the travel market, traveling on a MOAA vacation, and especially traveling through Collette with the member benefit. Lastly, I just want to touch on, you're traveling with not only an organization with Collette that's always going to do the right thing and step up, but, John and I were talking before we got started, and he was talking about that satisfaction guarantee. And learning more about this organization, I was blown away during the pandemic. So I'll tell you Collette's story, and thankfully I don't really have to talk too much of the pandemic anymore because we're past it. Travel is back. It's booming. People are going all over the world. But, in March of 2020, when things shut down for us, over the next really 2 years, Collette gave back $185 million in cash for any tour that did not, go. And so for us, we're always going to have that value, that integrity to do the right thing. And you're traveling with an organization, MOAA Vacations, that's going to do the same thing and step up as well. So you've got two trusted partners that are always going to be looking on your behalf and are always going to step up when you need them to do the right thing. I'll say when I learned about what John did and his team and this organization, you are traveling, in my opinion, in the most honorable fashion possible. No one else I work with thousands of other partners all across the United States, stepped up and did what MOAA Vacations did for your members. So I think that should be forever indebted to the stuff that John and his team did, and that just shows you the type of organization that you're traveling in. But let's get into the fun stuff. I want to show you the highlights of what makes the 3 group departures I want to focus on today. And again, Collette has those 160 tours that we can show you the entire world with. So if these dates don't fit, or maybe it's a different departure, reach out to John and his team. They'll find the perfect fit for you. So the first one I want to focus on is our Southern Italy and Sicily. This is one of Colette's best-selling European tours. This is a 12-day journey. This is 17 meals included. So our group-specific date is October 15th through the 27th of 2023. So it'll be here before we know it. But if you don't have your fall travel plans yet, this is a wonderful place to start. You're going to encounter a crossroads of civilizations, seeing Sicily, off the beaten path, the coastlines of southern Italy. You've got a little bit of everything here. So I'll kind of start with the map and what you'll see and do. We actually will start this tour in Palermo. So you'll do the overnight flight, make our way into Palermo. So you'll be in Palermo for 3 evenings. Agrigento for 1. We'll make our way into Giordani Nexos for 2 nights, Matera for 2 nights, and then we wrap up into Sorrento for the final 2 nights of the tour before departing home from Naples. So when I talk about seeing and doing as much as we can and having a limited number of one-night stays, this is a 12-day departure, and we only have one one-night stay. So that shows you're going to spend so much more time seeing this destination. And Collette grades the activity levels of its tour from 1 to 4. 1 being the easiest, the least strenuous, 4 being the most strenuous. The overall activity level of this tour is a level 3. This means you're an on-the-go traveler. You don't want to miss a thing, so walking and standing for longer periods of time, up to 1 to 2 hours, isn't a big deal. You can navigate hills, uneven ground, cobblestone streets. You can possibly deal with changes in elevations. You can expect some longer days with some free time balanced out to set out on your own adventure. So as we make our way into Palermo, that's the capital of Sicily. You'll see the city's vibrant culture, picturesque harbors, cobblestone piazzas, beautiful, captivating energy in a city that's over 2,700 years old. So in this region, you're going to see a lot of Greek history as well. So you're going to see a lot of different civilizations kind of mixed into one. We always will start our tours off with a wonderful welcome dinner of authentic Sicilian cuisine, regional wines, wonderful meals. This is a tour. If you're on a diet, I'm going to apologize in advance. You're going to eat and eat and eat. So wonderful Sicilian cuisine throughout this entire adventure. And then we're going to get to know Palermo in a nutshell. You're going to get to see the city's Moorish, Norman, Spanish architecture. We're going to jet set on a wonderful walking tour of the destination. We'll stop in the Casa district. In Casa, this is home to the Mafia legends, beautiful lush gardens. So you'll get to see all of that up close and personal. Everywhere you go on this tour is an incredible photo opportunity. And these are the unique things that you get to do on a Collette experience. This evening, you'll visit a medieval palace where a countess will guide you through her family's home, where you'll join for appetizers and hors d'oeuvres. That's the stuff you can't do on your own. So to go through a medieval palace with a countess, that will be a fun, unique experience. And then we're going to give you kind of a free morning to catch your breath, jet set on your own, go see this destination as you see fit. And then we're going to have a wonderful choice on tour. This is an included choice for you to see and do how this destination as you see fit. We'll have Monreal's Cloister, so for you to get out and see it, or you can ascend to the panoramic terraces and the heart of Palermo to get a bird's eye view. So the tour manager can help you pick which of the 2 included options is a great fit for you. But as much as we love the cities, I love Italy and off the beaten path. I want to show you what makes this destination so unique. So we'll go through the countryside's rolling hills. We'll make our way through the farmland town of Agrigento. This town was founded in 580 BC and was one of the main Greek colonies during the Golden Age. So when you see the Greek colonies, there's no better way than to get up close and personal with the archaeological and the UNESCO World Heritage Site of the stunning Valley of the Temples. Containing 7 temples, the valley was built in 5th century BC and then rediscovered in 18th century by European settlers. So you'll get up close and personal as it. You see the temple on Concordia, Jupiter, Hercules, all of that. You'll get up close and personal, in-depth touring, and get to see and do it all. But this is the main reason you're taking this tour. It's to see the coastline. It's to spend time in Taormina, to make your way up to the Amalfi Coast. That's why this is one of Collette's best-selling destinations. Everywhere you go is out of this world beauty for you to get to see. So we'll continue on our tour. We'll make our way through in Taormina, the ancient Greek theater built in 3rd century BC, get views overlooking the water as well. And then you'll have time in 2 nights in Giordani Nexos, the Garden of Sicily. If you're a garden person, you'll love the opportunity to see it. We'll make a stop into Mount Etna. This is another UNESCO volcano national park. Mount Etna is Europe's largest volcano, nearly 11,000 feet high, capped by 4 summits and craters. So you'll get the opportunity to walk amongst it and get to enjoy that time. But here it is. You get the free afternoon to explore. We want to have that perfect blend of included sightseeing with ample free time. So you have the opportunity to enjoy it. We'll actually get out onto the ferry. We'll take the Strait of Messina to Villa San Giovanni. We're back on to Italy's mainland. And how can we take you to Italy without going on a winery experience? So we'll go to a local winery before joining an export for a tour of the cellar with a tasting. And not just that, we want to have a wonderful meal. We'll linger over regional cuisine at dinner at the winery's restaurant before ending our day in Matera for our 2-night stay there. So we'll all say cheers, have a wonderful time at the winery. You have to do a winery when you're in Italy, of course. And then we're going to make our way to Matera. And this is where you're going to see carved cave dwellings. This is where they lived for many, many years. And a lot of Christian films have been filmed here. So you got so much history to get up close and personal to. And then we have another choice on tour for you. Maybe you want to get up close and personal with those truly homes during that. And then we have a cistern tour if you want to learn about the waterworks in the region and get to see all of it. But no better highlight. And I just had a wonderful group get back, and they said they loved their time in Pompeii as much as they did anything on this journey. So you'll get up into the excavation of Pompeii to hear the story of Mount Vesuvius erupting in 1st century AD, the city covered in nearly 20 feet of ash for centuries and centuries. So you're going to learn so much of the history here. You'll step back into another place in time. But there's no better way to finish your tour than 2 nights in Sorrento, right in the heart of the Amalfi Coast. If you love shopping, people watching, walking around, it looks like a postcard. It doesn't look real when you get to spend time on the Amalfi Coast. UNESCO World Heritage sites everywhere you can see. You'll love your hot time here. Great inclusions, ample free time for you to get out and explore on your own. There's no better way to cap off this journey than the final 2 nights here. So as we start to unwind on the journey, we will stop by a local family-owned limoncello factory, which, limoncello is popular all throughout Italy, but it is most famous found in Naples and the Amalfi area. So you're going to be in the heart of limoncello country for you to enjoy it. And just like we had that wonderful welcome dinner, we'll cheers goodbye to a wonderful experience and have a fantastic farewell dinner. And hope you saw what makes Southern Italy and Sicily such a wonderful destination for us. It's culinary, it's history, it's a great mix of off the beaten path with included must-sees of what we would call the wows of the destination. So if you've been to Italy before, a lot of times you maybe did Rome, Florence, and Venice on the first trip. Well, this is your opportunity to get a little more off the beaten path, to go into Sicily, to step back in time a little bit. And we hope you enjoyed seeing some of the sights and sounds of the destination. Again, this is October 15th through the 27th of 2023. So a 12-day journey. And as you see here, you've got $3,099 per person double occupancy. That includes all the MOAA discounts. As you can see, we'll save up to $200 per person on this. So I want to set the right expectation for you. With this specific tour, we promote this all over the United States. So that is our land-only pricing. We will add in our airfare for you dependent on where you live and what that pricing is. So again, if you do the land and air tour with Collette, we will have that private sedan service for you to take care of it. It's a great value. That is a wonderful time of year to go as well. It's as far south as it gets in Italy. So, weather-wise, October is a perfect time of year to go. The European traveler does so much vacationing in July and August, early September. Crowds aren't going to be as big. It's a great seasonality, weather in the 70s and 60s, perfect touring weather in our opinion. So I'm going to check the chat really quick just to make sure we didn't have any questions on this. And if they're more general questions, I'm going to save those to the end. And it looks like we had some of the Iceland things.
Sawyer,
John,
yeah.
I'll save those for the
Sawyer,
end.
I'm answering all the questions in the chat as you talk. So
Perfect. Thank you so much.
if by chance somebody asks one that I don't know the answer to, I'll just either interrupt or I'll save it to the end.
Sounds good. I appreciate it.
Everyone, I think I forgot to mention this. We will do a Q&A when Sawyer's done talking about the other two groups we're going to go through. So feel free to ask in chat. I'm answering as Sawyer talks, or when we get down, if there's important points that I think everybody will want to know, I'll bring that up at the very end as well. So
perfect. Thank you, John.
Carry on.
All right, buddy. Well, our next adventure is one near and dear to my heart. So I started with Collette in 2011. So they send me to training. I'll tell a little bit of my personal journey to the South Pacific. They send me to training, and within a couple of weeks on the job, they say, okay, we need you to see exactly what we do on tour. They sent me to Australia, New Zealand for 15 days within a month of being on the job. Tough life I live. Collette takes wonderful care of its employees, but you know, it was a blessing and a curse. And, you know, I've been able to, since that point, Collette has sent me to 6 different continents and over 50 different countries. I have been beyond blessed to see a lot of the world. Well, why I call it a blessing and a curse, the very first destination they sent me to has been the top travel destination I've been to in my entire career at Collette. I love Australia, New Zealand. I have an absolute passion for this place. As much as I love you living in the United States, I love being an American. If I ever got kicked out of the US, I'm going to live in New Zealand because I think it's the best country in the world to visit. I meet expert travelers all the time that go, whether it being off the beaten path places around the world, anywhere you go. New Zealand normally is near the top of people's bucket list that they haven't been, or it's one of their favorite places in the world they've ever spent time. And not to mention, you're also going to see Sydney and Cairns. So this is our South Pacific wonders. This is a part of the world that Collette dominates in. We love sending people to the South Pacific, and it's one you really need 2 weeks. If you're going to do that flight, and from, you know, I'll set the right expectation for you. You're 15 hours from LA to Sydney if you're flying from the West Coast. So I always tell people, how long's the flight? It's a couple of naps, a couple of meals, a couple of movies, and you're going to be there. It is worth every minute once you get there and you see the incredible sights and sounds of this destination. So this is a 15-day journey. To do it right, this is the bare minimum amount of time you have. 22 meals are included. This is November 1st through the 18th of 2023. So this will be, you know, kind of think of your Southern Hemisphere. So flip-flop seasons. So we will be coming out of their winter into their spring. So as it gets into our, you know, kind of true fall heading towards winter, they'll be coming to their winter, you know, going into their spring, into what would be summer at the first of the year. Weather should be wonderful. You should really enjoy it. So here's we'll do the overnight flight. So if you see that says days 1 and day 2 overnight flight, well, it's a 2-day flight because you cross the international date line. And there'll be kind of a day of your life that goes poof. If it's your birthday, I apologize. It'll act like it never happened. But we'll make our way. We actually start this tour into Christchurch. So that's where we'll be on the South Island of New Zealand. So we'll do 2 nights in Christchurch. We'll make our way down to Queen's Island at the bottom of the South Island in Queenstown. Queenstown, New Zealand is my favorite city in the entire world. Of everywhere that I've traveled, I love Queenstown, New Zealand more than any place I've ever been. These pictures I'm about to show you will not do it justice for what you will get to see firsthand if you take us up on this experience. Then we're going to take you to the, you know, the entry point of the Great Barrier Reef. We do 3 nights in Cairns. So we'll get out and see the reef. And then we wrap up with 3 nights in Sydney. Again, multiple nights in every single destination we stay. We do have an option for those that want to extend their tour up to Fiji. We do 3 nights at the very end in Fiji. It's kind of beach bum days. You really just stay at the resort. You catch your breath. It's the vacation from the vacation. And then it breaks up the flight a little bit to make it a little quicker to get home. So, you know, kind of setting that activity level for this tour, it's a level 2. This means you like a balanced approach to travel. You feel confident walking at least 30 to 45 minutes at a time over a variety of terrains. For, you know, all things considered, this is a very leisurely tour. So we'll make our way into the historic city of Christchurch, New Zealand. This is the largest city on the South Island of New Zealand. And you might be aware of Christchurch from the devastating earthquake they had in 2011. So you're going to see firsthand the resiliency of the Garden City. It's a city of literature, a city of gardens. You're going to see a city on the rebuild and the rebound, as they get back to being the special destination that it's always been. We'll have a great welcome dinner for you to get out and see the destination, meet the travelers we're with, and welcome yourself to the South Pacific. On day 4, we're going to start our morning with a wonderful city tour, Christchurch, and seeing the largest number of public parks, residential gardens, hanging baskets everywhere, beautiful architecture. You'll love it. But there's no better way to introduce yourself to New Zealand and Australia than to meet the locals. And that's what we're going to do as we meet the wildlife at the Willowbank Wildlife Reserve. If you love species of birds, you see the kiwi here, see and do all of it is what makes this trip so special. But this is why I love this tour. And this is Queenstown right here, located right along Lake Wakutipu. So in the summer, you'll see people water skiing or getting out on their boats. In the winter, they'll go out and snow ski and snowboard in the mountains. The views here are unparalleled. These pictures will not do it justice. When you put your pictures on or share them with family or friends or put them on Facebook, they are going to be at awe at what you see and do for the 4 nights that you spend in Christchurch. So we'll make our way in. We'll have dinner that evening and really get to immerse ourselves in Queenstown Bay right there in the heart of Lake Wakutipu. So that morning, we'll make our way out through Holyford Valley. You're going to see the rugged grandeur of what makes this place so unique. So you think of Lord of the Rings, or you think of all the movies that have been filmed here, you're going to get up close and personal. If anyone's ever been to Scandinavia and you saw the fjords there, Milford Sound and the fjords of this region will rival it, if not surpass it. So you're going to do a cruise getting out to the fjords and getting to see Milford Sound. You get to see peaks about 5,000 feet, waterfalls everywhere, unbelievable fjords that you'll get to spend time in that you'll love. It'll be one of the absolute highlights of the trip. We do have an opportunity if you want to take a flight seeing tour back to Queenstown. That's an option if you want to see the fjords up close and personal that way as well. But we're going to give you a complete free day to explore Queenstown and do as you please. If you're a little more on the active end, you want to go hiking, you want to enjoy maybe something on the water, or it's a great place just for entertainment, shopping, just to put your feet up and rest and recover. But we do have one for my thrill seekers. We have a wonderful option on this destination, and that's our shot over jet boat ride. If you want to just YouTube shot over jet boat and watch what it is, it's completely safe, but it is a thrill of a lifetime. So if you're a thrill seeker, you'll zoom through the canyons and the shot over river for a thrilling ride. That's a lot of fun. But there's no better way to see Lake Wakutipu than to get up close and personal again. We're going to do a cruise on Queenstown's stunning landscape and harbor on an iconic coal-fired steamship. You'll get up close and personal with it. Then we're going to take you on a barbecue lunch lakeside by sheepdog demonstration before sailing back. So, you'll see so many lamb and sheep throughout all of this. You think of New Zealand wool in this region. So the sheepdogs are incredible to get up close and personal with it. And then we have another choice on tour. This is, again, an included opportunity for you. We have the Kiwi BirdLife Park Tour if you still love the wildlife of the region and want to spend more time in seeing and doing it. Or you can take a gondola ride up to the top of Bob's Peak to get unparalleled views of the bay and Lake Wakutipu and the mountains in the background. So stunning panoramic views for it. But, tonight we'll gather for a farewell to New Zealand dinner before departing that next morning, heading out to Cairns and the heartway of the Great Barrier Reef. So this is a very tropical area. Even this time of year, which will be their spring, expect weather in the 80, 85 range. And this is, of course, you're going to see another natural World Heritage site in the Great Barrier Reef. So you'll see it all. And I'll talk about the culture and why this matters so much to us at Collette, because you're going to come to learn so much of the history of Australia's original inhabitants and the Aboriginal people native to this region. So you're going to do that at the Rainforest Station Nature Park. You're going to get to see what their family structure is like, learn about how they're, assimilating into the modern world, learn what makes them so unique in their cultures and their values. That'll be a really, really fun experience to get to meet them. And then we're going to visit Hartley's Crocodile Farm. Wildlife plays such a huge part here. That's what you'll get to see and do on a nature scenic cruise. And then you're going to meet this cuddly creature here. You'll get the opportunity to visit with a koala and chat with a wildlife naturalist to learn more about these furry creatures. So you'll get really up close and personal with them, not too close when you see those claws, but you'll have the opportunity to take your photo with them, get to see and get up close and personal with them. They're beautiful, beautiful animals to get to see and do it. but this is why we're going to Cairns on the next day. You're going to board a high-speed catamaran for an exciting excursion to the Great Barrier Reef. So we're going to take you here into Green Island. This is included for you. It comes with snorkeling equipment. You got the opportunity, if you want to read a book, enjoy yourself, go snorkeling in the heart of the reef, you can do that. Or if you want to take the opportunity to go out to the outer reef, this goes about 45 minutes further. And you see there, you're kind of in a netted area of the reef. This is called the outer reef. And it's a glass enclosed boat ride that you'll take. You've got a covered pontoon there. For my true people who love to snorkel, if you want to scuba dive, this is where I encourage you to go. So you're going even further out into the outer reef, which is the heart of it. So it's an unbelievable day. This is something you will never forget, to get up close and personal, to see the little Nemo swimming around and to see all the wonderful, beautiful reef. And then you've got a kind of a free day to relax and enjoy your time in the tropical paradise of Cairns. Then later, we'll be flying into Sydney. This is, of course, the state capital of New South Wales and Australia's most populous city, right there on the heart of the East Coast. So you think about, comparable to Europe, with our country's heritage and history, only going back a couple of hundred years, the first settlers founded Sydney in 1788. So it's going to feel very much like you're in the United States. It's going to feel like a West Coast, maybe Sydney will feel like a San Francisco, or, kind of a smaller New York. It'll have that flavor to it. But, it's a beautiful city. It's a very clean city. It's a very safe city. Everything is English speaking. It's a wonderful way to see and do it. And you're going to see every inch of the city. So we'll start out with a wonderful city tour, seeing in the bay. If anyone, any of our MOAA members are, in the Baltimore area, their harbor is based out of the harbor in the marina area in Baltimore. So it looks exactly like it. But getting up close and with the harbor bridge in the background there, the Sydney Opera House, we don't just want you to see it. We are going to go with an in-depth tour of the Opera House. This is pretty much one of the modern architectural marvels of the last 50 to 100 years. So you'll see, the opportunity to go behind, learn all the history of its architecture. It took 10 years to build. So you'll get to learn all of that story. You'll have plenty of independent exploration time as well. This is where the tour manager will be great for recommendations for you to maybe go on a bridge climb, or great shopping, or how you want to go to Bondi Beach, or some of that you would like to spend time in Sydney. But there's no better way to do it than to get out onto the harbor cruise. We're going to have a wonderful farewell dinner cruise overlooking the harbor as the sun sets, seeing wonderful photo stops of the harbor bridge, to see the Opera House, to see the coastline. And that's what your evening will finish up right at golden hour for you to enjoy it. We do have an option if you want to go see a performance at the Opera House. We can take care of tickets for you on that as well. I hope you saw my passion for this region. New Zealand is my favorite place in the world to send my travelers. The unparalleled sightseeing, the people are unbelievable. They will welcome you with open arms. They can't wait to show you what makes Australia, New Zealand one of the most unique places in the world to visit. So super excited about it. Hope you join us in the South Pacific. And again, if you maybe need a little bit longer on this, hopefully this date worked for you. But this is a great first quarter. When it's our winter in the United States, it's a great time to go. And then don't forget, we got the Fiji extension as well. So kind of wrapping up here, this was our South Pacific Wonders. This is November 1st through the 18th of 2023. So you're looking at our 18-day tour. That's $7,449 per person, double occupancy. That is, I want to make sure we're clear on this one. I talked about, Sicily being land only. Southern Italy and Sicily, that pricing was land only. Because this has interflights included, this is out of Los Angeles. We'll quote you out of your major gateway, but this is land and air and interflights included for you already. So that's $7,449 per person, double occupancy, including the MOAA discount, where you have an opportunity to save $500 per person. John Moran, any questions in the chat on this?
No.
There were a number of questions. I think I got to most of them. We can go over a couple of things we might want to reconfirm, something that everybody might be interested in who's not following the chat. The first thing was on the sedan door-to-door service. The question was the mileage for the complimentary, and I can tell you what I answered, and you can confirm I was correct. It's complimentary at most gateways at 50 miles a lot of gateways will actually offer 75 miles at a slight fee. Anything
You
you
are
would
correct.
like to add or correct on that?
That is correct. And so 50 miles out of most major gateways, there could be a surcharge if we go up to 75. And if for some reason we do not have that service in your home gateway and it is an air inclusive vacation package, we will have another rebate discount for you.
Gotcha. And then somebody asked about single pricing. I explained it's, a lot of time cruises will have like 200% single supplement or something like that. I said there are single occupancy pricing. I used an example, Iceland, where it's $47.99 to go single occupancy is only $54.99, so it's only $700 more for a 10-day tour. So really, it's almost you get a room by yourself. Which I can tell you, might be worth it.
Absolutely. And in my opinion, if you are a solo traveler, which, that's one of the core tenets of group travel is no one's by themselves. Yeah. And so maybe you don't have a travel buddy or, you don't have one for this specific destination. John's right. Cruising, could run you 200%. On an escorted tour, you'll see there's a wonderful value on single supplements, and the tour manager will do a great job of immersing you into the group. Before you know it, you'll have 44 new friends and you'll be a traveling family before the tour ends.
Yeah, and that would be on any Collette tour that you went on. When you look at the group departures, I always like to say when you go on a MOAA group, everybody's just a friend you haven't met yet. I was lucky enough to escort Tour of Germany last fall, and you really get people bond even quicker because you have that shared background with everyone you're traveling with. And yeah, I can tell you, we had 2 buses for Tour of Germany, and great friendships were made. And we have people that go on groups that end up going on more groups together, particularly with our solo travelers, because you meet somebody, you have fun, and the conversation at some point while you're in Iceland is going to come up where you're thinking of going next, and you may actually meet travel buddies on a trip like this. Somebody asked about the bedding in the hotels on double occupancy. 2 beds. Does double have 2 beds in the room?
Correct. Yes, it would.
Best, right?
That is, and if you are in a double room, if it's, sometimes if it's a couple traveling together and they want a single bed, a queen or king size bed, we will accommodate that. If we need to double 2 people to the room, but we need separate beds, we'll work with our hotel partners to accommodate that.
There you go. Yeah, and a lot of this, I think, well, why don't we finish up, and then when we get to the Q&A, we'll see if we got anything else, because they're kind of general questions, nothing really specific yet.
Sounds good. Thanks, John. Well, and I know I don't want to go too long here, so I'll kind of breeze through our last one. And this is our iconic Israel. This is another destination I've been fortunate to visit too. This is a 10-day tour, 16 meals included. This is November 5th through the 14th of this year. It's a great time to go. You're back before Thanksgiving. Weather still be wonderful there. And I want to set the table for what this journey is. And, this is what we would call a secular tour for us. This is not necessarily faith-based by any means. It's more cultural, historical. But, it's really hard to do Israel without having some type of faith component, whether Arabic, obviously Christian, Jewish, whatever it might be. So there'll be a little bit of that sprinkled in, but by any means, don't feel like this is a religious itinerary. This is a secular, faith-based journey. But, I love to set the table on this specific journey in particular. And look, I love cruising, and I love to go to go to Mexico on a resort and just have beach fun time. I'm making lifelong memories, but I'm not necessarily going to say that was a life-changing experience, if that's fair to say. This one is. And, there are a lot of different destinations that Collette sends you to. There's something about this one where you come back a different person. This truly, it's going to grab you and grab everyone for different reasons at different times. But, especially those of a faith of this region, there's just something about putting eyes in this historical part of the world that will just blow you away. And you come back with a different appreciation. It might turn your faith from black and white to color. I mean, that's the easiest way to say it. But again, this is a secular tour. It's a great way for you to learn about, not just the faiths, but for you to see the cultural, how are, the different quarters of the old city, how do they all live amongst the same world? And, maybe it's the, Israeli-Palestinian things. Those, you get to ask a lot of these questions and learn so much. So, when you look at the itinerary at a glance, we'll do the first 2 nights in Tel Aviv. Then we'll make your way up to the heart of the Sea of Galilee in Tiberias. And then we'll finish up with 4 nights in Jerusalem, located right outside the heart of the old city. It's a wonderful itinerary. And you think about, when, biblical times, these are all places that they walked or rode camels or donkeys or whatever it was. So you're not spending a ton of window time on this. You're 2 hours or 3 hours from Tiberias to the Sea of Galilee, or from Tel Aviv to Tiberias. You're very close to Jerusalem. Jerusalem to Masada is 45 minutes. So that is great. It gives you so much more time to learn what makes this region so unique and to see and experience it all. This is an overall activity level of a 3. Again, this means you're an on-the-go traveler. You don't want to miss a thing. So to experience this itinerary, you must be able to walk unassisted, from about an hour at a time up to about 2.5 miles. So just want to set that clear experience for you. We do have pre's and post extensions on this to Cairo and to Jordan. And I send a lot of people, and as much as they fell in love with Israel, they love their time is in Cairo, or they love their time into Jordan just as much. So if you're going that far, you want to see and do as much as you can. But, we start the tour into Tel Aviv. This is the kind of reinvented city on the Mediterranean coast. To paint it clearly, it's kind of the modern city of this part of the world. It's really the Miami of the Middle East is kind of how they fashion themselves. So, a lot of the business district here, it's a city of about 100 years old. So it doesn't have that biblical history that maybe, anywhere like a Jerusalem or a Tiberias would. So we'll make our way through beautiful area located right along the water. And your tour guides here, your tour managers are going to be just out of this world. The knowledge base they have to talk about the different cultures and, the melting pot that is this region. It's just an incredible learning experience, and they can't wait to show you, and they're so passionate about bringing people to this region. But this morning, we're going to explore Tel Aviv's White City. This is, famous for its Bauhaus architecture, the narrow streets of Haifa, port city, to see and do it. You'll love the opportunity to go through the street markets and just live like a local, and to see all the spices and the vegetables and all the things that they see and do this region. We'll go to the Carmel Market for a walking food tour. So that's a lot of fun to get to do this. This is the Bauhaus architecture that you'll get to see up close and personal. And then you'll get to have kind of your welcome dinner, enjoy yourself, and have your fun 2 nights into Tel Aviv. The next day, we'll follow up the coast into the ruins of the ancient Roman capital of Caesarea, built by Herod right around 1st century BC. So you're going to get to see its ruins, get up close and personal with it. A lot of great touring, beautiful theater here overlooking the water as well. And then we're going to take you to a Galilea winery. So for you to visit to a winery set among the upper hills of Galilee, for you to enjoy it, we'll enjoy lunch and a taste of the wines produced to the kosher tradition. So that'll be a really, really fun, unique experience. And then we're going to set sail in the tranquil waters of the Sea of Galilee. We'll aboard a replica fishing boat, really pretty much like you're on a boat of the biblical times. So that'll be a really fun experience to know of all of the biblical history that took place here, to get to see and do it right in the heart of the Sea of Galilee. And that'll be our home for the next 2 nights. So our day will come in Tiberias, and that's the city overlooking the water, and that's where we'll be for 2 nights. Day 5, we'll begin our day by exploring the excavated ruins of Magdala. This is regarded to be the hometown of Mary Magdalene. So you'll get to see the excavated ruins of it. And when we talk about at the very beginning of doing unique culinary things, we already talked about a city food tour through the markets. Well, this one is very unique, where we will take you through a local Arabic food tour experience for a member of the Druez community at a home-hosted lunch. So we're going to take you to a member of this community's home. They're going to show you their local flavors, what their family structure is like, allow you to ask questions and really get to experience that. So that's a really, really fun thing. Those are stuff you can't do on your own. So that's a really safe and fun way to get to do it. We'll also take you through Old Town Nazareth. Of course, more than just a religious town, there's a wonderful culinary scene, growing business district right through the last couple of hundreds of years as well. So, the other place, famous into Nazareth, you'll visit the Church of the Annunciation. This is the traditional location of Jesus's boyhood home and Mary's well. So you'll be able to get up close and personal with that to see all of those wonderful sights. But here we'll head south to the Mount of Olives and making our way, as you see the Dome of the Rock right there, through 4 nights in Jerusalem, one of the holiest cities in the entire world. Layers of history and heritage, a resilient spirit. You can feel it in the city, a gorgeous walled city where it's into different quarters. You've got the Jewish quarter, the Arabic quarter, the Christian quarter, and then kind of the melting pot quarter. So you're going to get to see how these different faiths all intertwine in the different regions of the city. And it's as unique as it gets. And the cobblestone streets, you feel like you are stepping back in time. And this is where this tour really starts to change you and to really open your eyes to see things in a different way. Tonight, we'll get acquainted with a Jewish family tradition as we join a local Jewish family. And again, this is another home-hosted meal. So now you'll get to see what the Jewish family structure is like in the region. And then the next day, you'll walk in the footsteps of the millions before you and discover the old walled city throughout your city tour of Jerusalem. So on this walking tour, you'll see the Western Wall, the Wailing Wall that you see there, the temple area, the Dome of the Rock, the Pool of Bethesda. All of this is right there. So you'll be able to make sure you write a wish or a personal note on a piece of paper. You slide it inside the crack. You'll get, it's a very somber experience, a very quiet experience. The visitors have done that for years in this region. The other really moving thing to a lot of us for you to get to experience is the Via Dolorosa. This is where you'll do the pathways of the Stations of the Cross. You'll begin at Pilate's Judgment Hall and end at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, which was the burial site of the Catholic in the interpretation of the Catholic faith. As we just finished up Easter, where the resurrection took place. So those would be the Stations of the Cross. Very moving, poignant experience for you. Then you'll immerse yourself with the everyday culture of Jerusalem, seeing the market, the bazaars, the streets, exploring every inch and getting to do all the fun, having some free day and some free time as well to explore on your own. Day 8, it's a very, very moving day. It's a very tough day, a very somber day, but it's an extremely passionate and heartwarming day. As you begin your day with a poignant visit to Yad Vashem. This is the World Holocaust Remembrance Center. And so maybe you've been to the one in DC or any of the others. Or if you've ever been to one of the Holocaust museums across all of Europe, this is a special one to be here and to see the story again, to get up close and personal. If you haven't been to one, I don't know if it's something that you want to do multiple times, but while you're there, to see the story of perseverance. And for a lot of us that, on this call probably can trace our, maybe it was our uncles or our fathers or whoever it was that fought in World War II, especially with it being in 2024 being the 80th anniversary of D-Day. This is a very poignant time to be able to go out and see these things. So you see and learn a story of overcoming to get up close and personal with it. We do have an option during your free time if you want to go to Bethlehem, which is, of course, for the Christian faith, a very moving experience as you'll visit the Church of the Nativity, the birthplace of Jesus and the first church ever built. So if you want to take us up on that, you're welcome to go to the Grotto of the Nativity and see where the manger was, to have that opportunity. You'll also, and this is where this tour gets extremely unique, travel to the desert fortress of Masada, situated on the cliffs next to the Dead Sea. So you'll take the cable car up to Masada, explore Herod's palaces, the Roman camp. You've got a beautiful synagogue into that region, but no visit to this region is complete without opportunity to hop into the Dead Sea, the lowest point on earth. It is one of the most unique things I've ever done. It feels like you're sitting in a recliner. You can't sink. All of the minerals, and you kind of rub the Dead Sea minerals on your face. It's kind of like the Benjamin Button movie. You come back looking 10 years younger after you rub, the Dead Sea mud all over you. But it's so unique. You just float. You can't sink. You'll see people reading a book out there floating in the water. But it's an experience you'll never forget. and then we'll make our way back for a wonderful farewell dinner to wrap up our journey where the tour ends. But I'm serious when I say this. I love sending our travelers all over the world. There's something special about this region that you truly come back a different person. And, to have this be a tour about culture and a tour about the history, it's a great historical way to see the Middle East and to see this region. So I love it. We talked about the, extension to Cairo and the extension to Jordan. If you're going that far and you want to see and do more, you're able to do that. But again, this is November 5th through the 14th of 2023. The double per person occupancy rate. Now, just like Italy, this one is land only. We'll quote you out of all of your major gateways where you're flying out of, but that's $3,299 per person land, and that's got the $250 offer and savings on it. So, John, I'm going to do this. I can kind of go back through the chat and see if there's anything we missed. I'll turn it back to you, buddy. I appreciate everyone's time and attention. I hope you saw what makes Collette unique and Collette a wonderful and trusted way to get out and see the world. Again, if any of these 3 destinations are a great fit, you've got the opportunity to reach out to the team at MOAA Vacations. They'll take such wonderful care of you. But again, remember, Colette's got 160 tours and thousands of guaranteed departure dates. We can put the pieces of the puzzle together to find the perfect adventure on the perfect date for you. So, John, I'll turn it back to you. Thank you so much for having us, and we're so honored to have Collette play a part in being a wonderful member with MOAA Vacations.
I appreciate your time. Are you going to run out? Are you going to stay? I'm just going to go ahead and close right now because I know we're a couple of minutes late. I just want to take just a second and remind everyone that we will send everyone a copy of this presentation so you can view it again. You can share it with your friends. I think we answered all of the questions. I'll look before I log off and make sure. Remember, you can bring friends and family along, and we'd love to have you join us on a group. I do want to thank Sawyer again for joining us today. I know he's dealing with a very pregnant wife, as he mentioned earlier, and as soon as he gets done with his presentation, he's off to the hospital. So I really appreciate your dedication to your job and taking this time with us. I'm going to let you have the last word. I'm going to see if there's one last question I need to answer.
Great. Well, no, I just want to say thank you again. And again, you've got the contact information here. This is a first-class organization that you're traveling with MOAA Vacations, and they are true experts in their craft. There is no better place in the United States for you to have planned your travel than John and his team.
All righty. We'll talk to everyone soon.
Thank you so much.